Hello everyone, welcome to class. My name is Imokwede here and it's a pleasure having joined to this session. So this session is for a targeted audience and it's for education quality assurance evaluators. I will just run through report writing in quality assurance. I've talked about it extensively in the training we just had. I will just talk about the monitoring instrument and why it's important to add an executive summary to that monitoring instrument and what it entails to write an executive summary in quality assurance reporting. Now, so just to remind us, the instrument we shared for resumption monitoring term and routine monitoring, the first part of the instrument contains what we call background information. For every school you enter for monitoring, whether it's resumption, whether it's end of term or routine, the first thing you do as an education quality assurance evaluator is to capture the background information of that school, and it contains the state, the local government, the name of the school, the address of the school. Most instances for schools in the rural area hard to reach, you are going to include the landmark for that school. For location, you have the urban, semi-urban, rural, hard to reach, riverine. You specify. Then for the type of school you are going for this monitoring, it's either it is a public school or a private school. You indicate the term and the session and the date that you are doing the monitoring. Like I said, you have the data you are going to collect, or the other set of data is going to be the records of learners and teaching staff. And this covers ECCD, basic school and secondary. Now for this data you are collecting for enrollment for learners and teaching staff, you are going to collect two sets of data. You are going to collect the data that the school will give to you through their admission registers, their classroom registers. You are going to collect those data. And for quality assurance, like I said, we collect data in male and female. We don't collect lump sum data. So your data for ACCD1, male is and female, then total, then teachers learner ratio. The same thing for ACCD2-3 and down to secondary school. So for our data set, we collect the data set that the school will give to you, and that's for the enrollment. The school provides the enrollment data. In that same form, you will see attendance for the day. That is the data set you will collect based on what you have observed with your eyes. You are going to do physical counting of learners for ECCD 1 to 3 down to secondary school. And so you're also going to collect the teachers learner ratio, which is called TLR. And that is applicable to all categories of the data set you want to collect for the schools. After collecting this data set, you do a short summary. You write the session, the term in which you are collecting that data, the total enrollment, you write it in male and female, then you sum it again with the grand total. In also that document we shared, we said you are going to write major findings in 3 categories. Because it's resumption monitoring, it is end of term, or it's routine, we focus on 3 aspects. But when it's whole school evaluation, we say we focus on what? How many aspects? 7 aspects. For resumption monitoring, for the major findings, you are going to capture 3 aspects of learning. The first one is teaching and learning. Teaching and learning indicators that you look at for as teacher activities. First, because it's resumption monitoring, are they present in school? Are they well dressed? Did they write their lesson notes? Are they using the curriculum? You look at the learners' activities. Are they learning? Are they writing? Are their works marked? Just etc. like that. The next aspect you look at is the learning environment. You're going to look at the entire school learning environment, and you're going to look at individual classrooms learning environment. And this covers infrastructure, furniture, toilet facilities, water facilities, social safeguarding facilities, etc. The last aspect you are going to look at is leadership and management. In leadership and management, you are going to look at the relationship with the head of school with the staff, staff with head of school, staff and staff, staff with learners, head of school with learners. the head of school with the immediate community, parents, etc., etc. You're also going to look at record keeping. Record keeping, we have two kinds of record. You're going to look at statutory records and non-statutory records. It would send a list of statutory and non-statutory record for you to go through and their functions. You're going to also look at staff discipline. Are they disciplined? You're going to look at staff meeting. That means you are looking at their meeting. If there is evidence that they took minutes of meeting, you want to see those evidences. If they have meetings with the parents, whether it's a school-based management committee, PTA, or school management board, you want to look at internal evaluations, their result analysis for all the exams that we're doing internally or externally. You want to look at these things. So these are the three major findings aspects you're going to cover. When you're done, you move straight to recommendations. You're going to make recommendations as a professional quality assurance evaluator. You're going to give your general remarks, and from there, you fill in the details of the head of school, the date, the sign, the phone number. You put your own details. You're endorsing that, yes, this report is from you. These details are collected per school for resumption monitoring, for end of term, and for routine monitoring. Now, imagine you have collected this, you have visited like 20 schools for this resumption monitoring. You are just not going to just submit this like this. You are expected to do what we call an executive summary explaining all your findings from these 20 schools and add it to these reports for these 20 schools you have visited. And so your executive summary will contain a title page, executive summary for a resumption monitoring head in your local government area. That's the title page. You give it a title. You do an introduction. You are telling us which exercise, this data set you are bringing for us, which exercise was it conducted, was conducted that you got this data from. Resumption monitoring was conducted in the social local government between 1st and 7th of social month, and the sole number of schools were visited. And in this data set, so all those data you've collected from those 20 schools, you will now have to look at them. How many were co-educational, that they are mixed? How many it was just single-sex schools? How many of them were in urban? So you give us a breakdown, an analysis of those 20 schools. It should just be in the introduction. Then the next thing you want to do is to look at what the schools you visited, the 20 schools, you need to list out what they were doing well. You list out and that's the heading of one of your the schools visited were doing this very well. You also list out what they were not doing very well. You understand? Not just what you need to list out areas where they need to improve. I think that's more clear. You need to list out areas where some of these schools that you visited, where they need to improve. Then after that, the next heading should be major findings again. Your summary major findings for all these schools, for the three aspects that you collected before. So you need to do a summary of those your major findings. There are some you will have in similar schools, so you don't need to repeat yourself. There are some major findings, so you just list them. The next thing you need to do again, you have to make recommendations and your conclusion for your executive summary. Then you attach that executive summary to that school by school report that you have collected, and you submit. That is how we collect data set and we do reporting in education quality assurance. So if there are more questions about this, if there's any confusion, any clarity, you reach out to us in the office, in the Department of Research, Data Management, Research and Innovation. We are here to support you in any technical capacity. We're here to provide more guidance. We're here to provide technical support. We are here to ensure that you're able to improve your schools. So that's all for now. So we're expecting you to reach out to us and tell us if this is very clear and if you need more clarity. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.